What is going on, people, and welcome back to Total Osprey for the first live event of the season. D,
Yes,
nice cold night here in Australia, bro. First of all,
100%.
how you
Yeah,
going, bro?
nah, yeah, good man, good. I think we need to start doing these live shows a bit more. Get a bit more active. But yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, bro. Don't have much of a big agenda today. Just going to talk some stuff that's been going on in the Tottenham world for the last few weeks. But before we get into it, guys, no one dinner at the moment. But if you are joining us, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And we hit the 120 mark. We're flying at the moment. Appreciate all the love, and let's get to it. So, D, how are you, Josh? How are you, bro? Welcome to the channel, mate. Hope you're doing well.
Mm.
We want to get into it, but the first one I want to get into is Pochettino, Maurizio
Mm.
Pochettino.
Mm.
We were calling for his signing last season when Conte was going downhill. We all, I think, half the fan base wanted him. He has obviously officially joined Chelsea,
Yeah,
and some of his comments have really rattled the fan base. So D, before we get into it, Josh, I'm not sure if we will. We're only going to get streamed for about an hour.
yeah,
But a little bit later on, if people want to jump on, more than welcome to put the link in the comment section. But first of all, how are you feeling on Poch going to Chelsea? Because we actually haven't officially spoken about it, even to each other. So how do you feel about Poch going?
Look, I'm kind of devastated, but at the same time, I think we we should have had him, but I just don't think Daniel Levy wanted him. Obviously, the call wasn't called out to him. We didn't go for him. So I mean, look, this is for him to go to Chelsea. For us as fans, look, it's disappointing, but they called him. They wanted him. They got him. So we didn't act quick enough to get him. So I mean, look, it's one of those things that we can all be upset about, but at the same time, we can't be too disappointed. Like, obviously, there's going to be situations where he's going to come to, our ground and there's going to be fans booing, fans cheering. But at the same time, there's going to be absolutely, we can't really, I'm not going to, I'm actually not going to disrespect him because of what he's done for us. But at the same time, the comments he's made, it's kind of, basically, yeah, it's kind of trickled me. It's kind of like made me think, okay, right, you're actually going to say that. So, but yeah, those are my thoughts about it.
Yeah, well, I think we're on the same page. I think we're all calling for Poch. I don't think it's actually, for me, it's not Pochettino itself. It's in the manner of how things have turned out, right? So Poch was twerking for Tottenham,
Yeah,
and Levy didn't call for his name, and literally Spurs Live says it right here. It's disgraceful that Levy didn't appoint him in the first place.
100%.
I'm not putting
100%.
Ange down. I want Ange to succeed. I want him to bring the attacking football back that we want. He is our manager. I am going to back him. But for right now, we're talking about Poch, and Spurs Live is right. Before we keep going on, Merv, how are you, brother?
Oh, wait, man.
Hope you're doing well. Me and you tomorrow night shift together. But going back to it, for me, it's disgraceful from the club to actually not
Yes.
even look at Poch. I don't even think we contacted him. And look, I'm going to say it. He has no loyalty to us. His
No.
comments I don't like. Burns my heart because I have love for Poch. But at the end of the day, today's day and age, there's no loyalty. Kane's being labelled as a loser for being loyal to Tottenham now. I mean, he has plenty of opportunity to go to other teams, but Poch was waiting for us, and then Chelsea just went to him and gone. He goes, Tottenham don't want me. I need a job. Chelsea's a good job to go to. They're going to give me the money I need to get what I want, and he probably has more chance of winning something there to be successful. And again, his comments kill me. But at the end of the day, can you blame him? The only person we can blame is Levy. As Spurs Live said, it's disgusting the fact that we didn't even get the guy when he was ready to come. He was waiting. He waited after Nuno. We waited for Conte. Like, he waited over a year probably for us, and we didn't get him.
Yeah, no, it's absolute disgrace. I agree, and like you gotta look at it. Like he left PSG, you know, and it was just sitting there, just waiting for that phone call. I can imagine right now he was just sitting there next to his phone, waiting for Levy's name to pop up on his phone. He was gonna pick it up, but no, Levy didn't make that phone call, didn't dial his number, and literally, yeah. And I don't blame the guy for like coming out and like making those comments, but at the same time, they were pretty harsh towards us. But as you said,
Did he lie though? Did he lie? Because Chelsea has been one of the most successful clubs apart from City and Liverpool in the last 15 years in the Premier League.
Well, if you look
His
back,
comments weren't untrue. They weren't untrue.
If you look back at when Thomas Tuchel was taken over, they won the World Club Challenge or the World Club.
Yeah, they won the Champions League, the World Club Challenge, and then they've won plentiful of trophies in the last 50. Exactly. I think he said between 8, 10, and 12 years. But if you look back in the last, even 15 years, they have been probably the most successful English club. City obviously have overtaken domestically, but like in the European competitions, Chelsea's won more than any other club in the last 15 100%. Years. Yeah, and I think it's something he had to say. He couldn't go over there as this ex-Spurs man and pretty much just downplay the club and be like, "No, I still love Tottenham," because he would have never succeeded. Like they would never let him succeed there. The fans would hate him, and it's kind of like, how many times have we taken a Chelsea manager or a Chelsea player? How many times? Glenn Hoddle, Jimmy Greaves, both managed both clubs.
Yep.
We've had Conte, we've had Mourinho. Chelsea fans don't have any animosity towards. Well, not as much as what we do towards Poch. I think for me, it's the words he said where he saw Chelsea as the main rival of Tottenham, not Arsenal, because they're the ones that we wanted to emulate, to win. And I think that's where it's burning a lot of fans. And for me, I personally don't hate the guy. I think he needs to succeed wherever he needs to go. However, I feel like he didn't help himself with old comments that have now arisen, and the fact that at the end of the day, it's Levy's fault. Spurs Live called it. It's Levy's fault. I don't think anyone can argue with that.
I agree. I think look, Levy is going to take the blame for that, but at the same time, look, it all comes down to Levy at the end of the day, because he's the one that makes those calls. He's the one that looks at the managers, or gets Paratici apparently sends him the list of managers he wants. And
why, the Don's in prison, isn't he? He's overseas in jail.
Apparently he's still here. He still works. He's still working with us. So, which is kind of disgraceful, because why let the guy be the sporting director where he's freaking locked up, or he can't do anything with the club. So I mean, I feel but at the same time, I think Poch will do. I hate to say it, but I think he will do good things at Chelsea. I think he would. There'll be Chelsea fans out there saying, "Look, we got kind of the best, well, not the best, but one of the managers that were up there." But at the same time, I don't want to see it, because it'll break my heart. But what can we do, man? Like, we just got. What can we do?
Yeah, first of all, what's the point? Welcome back, brother. Always nice seeing you here. Always nice. You left me an essay to read the other day on one of the videos. Bloody hell. But look, I look at it as this, right? I don't think Levy wanted to deal with what Poch wanted. I think Poch had a list of things that he wanted to be done before he came back, in terms of transfers, in terms of players he wanted gone. And if you've noticed, how many players have been exited out of Chelsea so far? They've Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Mount's just signed for Man United. They got rid of Kovacic, Edouard Mendy, Koulibaly, like all these players. Poch has gone in and gone, I don't want them. Get him. And basically, like, I think that's ultimately Levy knew Poch wanted something that he wasn't going to give him. So that's why he steered it to Ange, and I think that's why he focused on Ange from January. That's what I heard, that he was focusing on Ange from then, to try and deter from having to deal with that. Morning Audio, you were here every now and then. Appreciate you coming in, brother. And What's the Point has a question. So he says, how many of you remember the Spearmint Mr. Soft advert from the 90s? I'm a 90s baby, so I was probably a bit too young. When I saw Ndombele get out of the car at training the other day, I instantly thought of that Mr. Soft advert. Now, I'm going to say Ndombele looked like he just didn't give a fuck when he got out. But
Oh, yeah,
I think
100%.
that's just his personality. I think that's the way he
Yeah.
presents himself. That's why he looked like managers hate him, because he looks so casual, so lazy, like he doesn't give a fuck. And for me, it's a bad thing because he needs to come back in. And if he wants to stay, and we're going to get into Ndombele because that's one thing I want to have a debate on today.
Yeah,
Is
we're going to debate about this.
like honestly, I don't know what you can do. As a person, you read his body language on the first day of training and he looks disinterested already. And what's the point? Proves it right here. It says, when Ndombele got out the car at the training ground, I thought he was heading to an interview for a children's presenter job. It looked like Expressions, but put on a bit of weight. You know what I mean? Like Expressions is rocked up with a bit of weight.
Yeah. Oh,
I love this comment. He got out the car at the training ground in real time. Don't look like slow motion.
That's actually so true.
Look,
that's so
you know
true.
what? We're talking about it. Let's get into it. So I wanted to have a chat with you, Delay, and in the comments, guys. If you're in, let us know how you feel. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff going around about Ndombele that Ange is kind of wanting to reconsider, putting him back into the picture at Tottenham. First of all, where do you stand on Ndombele? Because I'm going to be the debater here. I'm going to see what point you come from, and I'm going to give you reasons why I think you're wrong. But do you think Ndombele should stay?
If I'm going to go on hard, I'll go on hard. So basically, I reckon just the talent he has and the football side of things, yes, he should stay. And I'll tell you why he should stay. If you go back to where he was playing for Lyon, the passes he can find are unpredictable. Like, you don't think he would be able to find those kind of passes from a midfielder. And just the footwork he has, the dribbling ability he has, is freaking outstanding. So I reckon, for me personally, I would love to see him stay and try fight first place. For me, I want to see him play like maybe a Madison role, in that cam role, not back further, because he's going to get lazy in those kind of positions because he can't defend. But what I saw from him in Napoli, I think there was a lot of good. There's a lot of good things he did. Like, there was a lot of ball. Like, I watched it on YouTube. There's a lot of good things he did, a lot of bad things he did. But at the same time, I reckon he's got the ball work, and got the dribbling work, and all that. I reckon he should stay, just to maybe be a backup to Madison. That's me.
Okay, before I'm going to start, I'm going to say, what's the point? You are on point. And Ndombele starts sweating if he hears the word training. Oh my God. Someone give this guy a comedy act. Fucking
100%.
I hope you like that. I hope you like that when you're talking to someone, because that would make me crack. Look, I'm going to say you fucked yourself up there. You don't watch YouTube highlights to see how a player is.
I know.
But you know what? Look, I'm going to go against it. I don't think he should stay because I think he's lazy. He wouldn't work underneath Ange. Under Conte. He didn't work under fucking Mourinho. Didn't work under Nuno. I don't think he was around for Nuno. I think he went on loan. And then he was at the arse end of Poch. And look, I'm not going to deny the guy's got talent in terms of finding a pass. He can look silky smooth. But he went to Napoli and they still couldn't deal with him with his laziness. I just think this is his character. He's a character that is lazy, that doesn't want to put in the effort, doesn't like to work hard. I think he just wants to cruise through and just get the ball and do a couple of, dribbles, have a couple of shots, not have to work hard in the game. And unfortunately, in Ange's system, you have to work hard. And I just don't think he's going to work. And, audio put it up, became a multi-millionaire overnight and lost his mind at Spurs. I mean, look, I'm on the point of, I don't think he's going to work, but if he made the effort, if he put in the shift and he worked hard at training, there's a player there. There's a baller there. If he actually worked his ass off, lost a bit of weight, worked on his work rate, and actually put pressure on, with his skill set and his passing vision, like I would probably, if I would put him instead of Bentancur in the midfield three with Basuma And actually, no, because the thing is, for me, Basuma isn't really a defensive midfielder. He's more of the centre mid. But anyway, I would stick him in and around. It'd be good competition for Madison. But like, I don't know where to stand with this guy. Like in the chat, guys, where do you stand? Do you think we should keep him, or do you think we should just get rid? Because for me, like, I think it's just cut the losses, send him on. His wages are high. I think he's in the top 5 wages, with Harry Kane and Human Son and Ivan Perisic. So I think we could find someone better. I think we could sell him and, use the wages plus a bit of extra cash to go and get someone young like Alex Scott that will probably get a bit of more, a less game time, on demand less game time, but would be a better backup to Madison. There is a couple other youngsters that are out there. There's a 19-year-old, I think it's a Turkish lad that people have been talking about on Twitter that looks fairly good. But Audio's already made it out. He's got to go. I mean, I think he does. As much as I understand what you're trying to say, I get there's bags of talent there, but he's had 3-4 seasons. Even he had a whole season at Napoli where they won the league and he's still benched. So he can't be that good. And the Italian league's a bit slower than the Premier League. So if he can't hack it there, how is he going to hack it here?
Yeah, exactly.
And what's the point? Stick him in the basement, throw away the key, and he can chill with all the demons down there.
100%, bro. 100%, man.
But look, and this comment here, like, if that was me, I would chuck in Dyer, chuck in Davies, chuck in Sanchez, chuck in Perisic, chuck in Sessegnon, and send them all off to Saudi Arabia. Give us some big cashola. And that's the thing. That's what I think Daniel Levy needs to do. Like, Saudi seems to be trying to recruit these megastars or use shitloads of money. Like Ruben Neves, 65 million. Like, are you serious? Like, Ruben Neves is a good player. I would love him at Tottenham because I think he made Wolves tick. He was their main man that just kept him ticking. But 65 million? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous.
It's fucking ridiculous money for him.
So for me, the verdict is out for Ndombele. I think him and even Lo Celso. I mean, Argentina.
What's your thoughts on Lo Celso? Would you keep him or would you sell him?
I think that Celso brings more than what Ndombele does. I think his work rate's better. However, I still don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's showing up. I think he only shows up for certain teams or certain managers. He shows up for Unai Emery, so he might go to Aston Villa. When he plays for Argentina, he seems to make him tick. But when he comes to Tottenham, I don't know what his deal was. He honestly just... I want them to work. That's the problem. I want these guys to work because you can see a bit of talent that they have. But how long do we hold on to these people? Look at Eric Dyer. Like, how long have we held on to this guy? And this guy apparently gets to decide when he can leave. Like, he's saying he wants to stay. Are you serious? If Ange doesn't want him, get rid of him.
100%. No, I agree, man. Like, why is Dyer even here? Like, do you even see him getting in the squad? I reckon he'll be in the B team. He'll be in the B team.
Should be in the B team. And for me, if you're going to keep Dyer, you might as well just sell it, swap him for Langley, because I think Langley is just a little bit better than him, and I'd rather Langley as the backup than have Dyer.
At least Langley can make a tackle. I haven't seen Dyer make a tackle.
But
so, I mean,
we'll go back to Lo Celso because we're jumping to Dyer, and I'm sick of hearing about Dyer for now, so I don't want to talk about him. But look, yeah, I still think Lo Celso's a go. I think we just get rid of both. I think they haven't worked. It's been a couple of years. There's no point being sentimental and hoping they could get better. It's like Sessegnon as well. I hope he gets better. I have a little bit of sentiment towards him, but it's time for them to go. We need to get who the players who Ange wants, and honestly, it's right here. Levy has turned the club into a Freemasons fraternity brotherhood of darkness, where mediocrity is rewarded with promotion.
100%.
Eric Dyer was the backup to Vertonghen and to Alderweireld. And he never got in as centre back because Poch never wanted him to play there as centre back. Mourinho brought him in because Mourinho was whacking off over him at United, and Poch didn't want him. Poch wanted to get, I know Mourinho wanted Ruben Diaz too, and we end up getting fucking rode on. But you know what I mean? Like, he's right. We allow mediocre players to steal a living. We put them on wages that we should be putting them on, and we keep them around for so long because we're afraid that we're going to upset someone. It's actually fucked.
It is. Like what are you gonna do to get the guy out? Like, fucking, seriously, fucking just rip up his contract. Seriously, just rip it up. Send him
Well,
off.
I don't understand how you can allow someone like Eric Dyer to come out and say, I'm going to fight for my place. Hang on. You don't decide if you fight for your place. The coach decides if he wants you around.
Yeah, exactly.
Like for me, it should be see you later, mate. Out the door. Sell him to anyone. Give him to Leicester. Here you go.
Yeah.
Here's a centre back. You're going to lose all your players. Take Dyer.
Yeah,
7 mil. Here you go. Take him. We can't have him here anymore.
I don't want him here. Like he just doesn't do enough for us. He doesn't know how to make a tackle. Even when he tries to make a tackle, like you seen it. Fucking Ian Nacho last season. You seen it, Ian Nacho last season when we played against Leicester. It was backing off and backing off and backing off, and then all of a sudden he scored. This is like, he needs to go. 100. Yeah, look, what's the point, right? Like, look right there, says it all. But I just think Dyer needs to get out of here. Dyer needs to go.
And that's the thing, like going on what's the points last message right here. What is your thoughts? Like I know we've had a bit of a discussion the other day about how underwhelming we felt. I felt underwhelmed at the decisions to avoid going for Raya and then going for Cario, and then not going for Barnes because of the price tag, and then going over to this Solomon kid. And I understand people say about Barnes, he's not going to want to come over if he's not going to play first team football. But for me, you've got to be like Man City now. You've got to have at least, they've got 2 squads. They can play 2 full strength teams and dominate. Mm-hmm. And, I don't, and what's the point? Like I said, he's on fire tonight. Like I said, he should be a fucking comedian. But, we've had too many of these low budget buys that have really, really hurt us in the past. The likes of Rodon, Janssen, and then Saldado was meant to be the main guy, but we're getting all these. Solomon's on a free from Fulham, and Madison's the only one for me that makes me excited at the moment. And that's a problem. We've signed 4 players and only one makes me excited.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think the only one that makes me excited is Madison. But if we do get the defenders that we want, I think we got the window could be it could be a 7 for me. But in saying that, but
only if we get both. The thing is the club's talking about only getting one. Yeah. We need both.
You know what they're gonna do, right? They're gonna get one, and they're gonna get Langley. 100% reckon that's what they're gonna do. They'll get Langley. That's true. Wow.
Mate, it's going to be double that if he plays behind Dyer this season.
Oh, mate.
No, look. Honestly, though, we're pretty close to getting Van der Ven. I think he's the go-to. I think because he's younger, cheaper, can cover the left back side. And you did mention Langley there, but for me, we need both. For me, I would get both, and I'd put Taps over in and play Van der Ven at left back. If you're not going to play Reguilon, play Van der Ven there. If not, you tell Van der Ven you got to fight for your position. The guy's 21, 22. I'll be honest. He could probably outdo Romero. Like Romero can end up being the bench guy if he's not lucky. If we've got both, that is. This is hypothetical. This is not me saying that Romero should be benched, but like for me, it's. I would get both, and if we get Langley, get rid of Dyer, get rid of Sanchez. Tanganga, from what I saw, some of the body language of Ange, I think Tanganga is going to be given a go because he does put in an effort, and I feel like Tanganga's kind of been fucked over the last couple of seasons. Not saying he's good enough. I don't think he's good enough, but I think Ange is going to give him an opportunity to try and prove something. So I don't mind. I don't mind if Tanganga's the only one that stays. I'm not upset. I need Davies gone. I need Dyer gone. I need Sanchez gone.
Rodon. I'll get rid of Rodon.
Rodon be first one out anyway. But look, this one right here. Too young. I think Hula. I think that's the guy the Turkish guy that they were mentioning.
Yeah, that's it. The Turkish guy. Yeah.
I've seen some of his clips. I know, obviously YouTube. It's the only way we can see these guys these days. It's right. If we have those 2 in, and even if they're understudies, and we've got the likes of there's 2 players that I wanted to point out as well in our youth academy that Yaya Torre actually mentioned, and it's actually Mikey Moore, who everyone's talking about at the moment, and another lad that I didn't even know that we had was Callum. I'm going to fuck this name up. Elusesi. Apparently, Torre has come out and said they're both very much ones to watch. And what I've seen from Ange so far is that he's incorporating the youth academy into the first team training setup already. He's already had a one or two full game sessions or 60-minute sessions with the teams, and the youth. Some of the youth players that he liked has been brought up, and he does that because he wants them to play at that intensity for 60, 70 minutes in his matches. So he gets them to train like that. And for me, that's, you train how you want to play. For me, that mindset, I've trained in the past, I've coached in the past. You know yourself, me and you've done it together.
Yeah.
Our mindset is you train like you mean to play. And if you don't train hard, you don't play hard. And that's what I like to see. But there's a lot going on in here. What's the point brought up? Tapsoba is right-footed, but mainly played as centre half between the left centre back and right centre back for Leverkusen. Yeah. So Tapsoba is not coming in to play cover for Romero. Yeah, like I said, if Tapsoba comes, and we got Van der Ven, I would probably put those two and maybe bench Romero if he doesn't perform. I think Tapsoba is close to how Romero is, quite aggressive, but I don't think he's as rash as what Romero is. I think he's a bit better than Romero, to be honest. Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't be buying him as a cover. It'd be a starter, and maybe you're right. That's why we are going to Van der Ven, because of the left-hand side. Merv come out and said, "I'll happily buy Dyer's plane ticket." I mean, I'm pretty sure all of us.
I'm pretty sure we all do that, man. We'll all do it. I think everyone, any Tottenham fan, will do it. Or buy his ticket. I would.
I mean, I would. And then this right here, Victor Anderson from Galatasaray or Tosin, as both are in the 15-25 mil. I think you're right. What's the point? I think we'll get Van der Ven, and then it'll be Tosin. I think it'll be Tosin purely because of the English quota, because we'll be losing like Dyer and Davies, and that might be, well, Dyer ain't going, but Davies, Sessegnon will be going. We lost Harry Winks, so we got to put that quota in. I'm not too phased about the Tosin. I think Tosin would be a good backup.
Tosin's all right. Tosin, I don't mind Tosin.
If we had Romero, Van der Ven, Tosin, and Lenglet as our four centre backs next season, I'm not the happiest, because I would love to have a Tapsoba in there. But then, like what's the point said, he wouldn't be coming in to play backup to cover for Romero. He'd be playing starting. So maybe that's why we haven't gone for him. Maybe that's why we're going for Van der Ven.
Yeah, look, I think so. And look, I'm not disappointed about this Van der Ven. I think I mentioned it to you. Like, you didn't know anything about this guy.
I knew nothing. I'm honest. Yeah. I don't talk shit like I know. I didn't know anything about this Van der Ven. Yeah. I've only seen YouTube clips. Makes me gassed when we see YouTube clips, but apparently he's the real deal.
He is the real deal. He was the quickest centre back in apparently Bundesliga. So I mean, look, if we don't get Tapsoba, look, I'll be disappointed. But if Mickey Van der Ven comes in, I guess, look, that's probably the better option. As you said, it's a probably cheaper option. So I mean, look, if we're gonna go for Van der Ven over Tapsoba, I'm all for it. So, but yeah, like Victor Anderson from Galatasaray or Tosin, I think I prefer Tosin. I think because obviously the English quota, and plus he's Premier League proven. He plays for Fulham, and watch him last season. He wasn't too bad.
He's a big too. He's quite tall. He's like 6'5". We need a bit of height in our team too.
Yeah, we got no height. We got no height in our team. So I mean, look, he'll be dangerous in the air as well. So I mean, look, if we get those two in, and plus Langley, I'm not gonna be that happy. But I think if we got rid of Sanchez and Dyer, then
I don't think Dyer's going. I think Dyer's going to be hanging around. I think he's part of the club captain group. So, what's the point says, I think it's Anderson is out Galatasaray and interest in Sanchez. Could be a straight swap with a bit of cash on top. That wouldn't be a bad deal. Gets rid of one player that doesn't want to be here and brings us a player in that might be all right. And I think it's Hula, I think you'd say it is, plays for Fenerbahce in Turkey. I have seen some clips of him as well. He looks saucy, like he's got a good eye for pass, like a vision. And he seems quite confident in his ability. And that's the thing. It's all well and good having the talent, but if you don't have the actual mentality to be able to pull off this shit, it's not going to happen. And then he's on fire tonight. Ange needs to give these boys a few steaks twice a day, and also play fetch them in the evening to wind them down. They're not dogs, bro.
They're not dogs, man.
Dude,
I mean, you You can do that to die if you want. Like I'm all for it. You can go do that to die. Fucking,
Put on a choker chain and stick him out in the backyard in the rain.
fucking
See you
no.
later, mate.
Yeah.
Go out
Why
there, play
not? Why
yourself.
not, bro? Why not?
Um, but look, it's the window's looking okay at the moment, but we need a lot going out. And for me, like I said, the players that I named before, Sessegnon, Davies, Dias, Sanchez, even Lo Celso and Ndombele, we need these players out to bring players in, and we need good players. Audio's brought in thoughts on Royal at centre back in Ange's system. He's got pace for a high line, good one-on-one defending, and good in the air. Look, I thought I thought Royal looked decent in the back three last year when we were playing Porro as the right wing back, and Porro looked better because he didn't have to worry so much defensively because Royal covered him. Now I'm not gassing up Royal; he did have a decent end to the season. I feel like Royal can do something in that right back role in his actual right back role. But as a centre back, I don't know if his height. Like I know you say he's good in the air, but coming up against Haaland, Romero and Royal against Haaland, like I'm dreading that. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think Royal's going to have a decent season this year. I think with a proper back four, he has got a bit of pace as well. And you're right, like Royal was he's a good defender, and that's the problem that we had last season. We were playing him as a right wing back when the guy can't even dribble the ball, let alone cross it. And then we're playing him out. So maybe if Ange needs him as a utility, if someone gets injured, then probably I wouldn't mind Royal. I'd rather Royal go in and Dyer. At least I know Royal's going to get in there and try and make a tackle. Because like I said, I still haven't seen Dyer make a tackle since he's moved to centre back.
No, but I think I agree with you. I think Royal can play. He's going to be playing his natural position at right back, and he's a great defender. Can defend 1-on-1. The pace,
he's not slow.
He's not slow, but he's not quick as well. So I mean, he's a bit in the middle. But good in the air. I don't know about that.
I think he's much better than Romero in the air. That's what I'm going to put it out there. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Romero is shit in the air. That goal where he went behind Romero and he didn't even attempt to jump, and I can't remember who it was, but someone came in at the back post and just slotted it in. It might have been for Brighton, I think. Romero's horrible. That's why I wanted Tapsoba at the start, because I wanted someone big in the middle or Tosin to get the head on the balls, because Dyer was shocking, and Romero just does not seem to know how to header a ball, clearance-wise. Kane's made more defensive clearances than Royal does, than fucking Romero has, and he plays striker. I mean, he plays centre defensive these days. Well, he used to.
Kane plays everywhere, to be honest. But anyways.
What's the point? I said I'd increase Ndombele's performance levels by tying a couple of stakes onto his ankles to release the hounds for half an hour of training. He's been watching too much Simpsons. Mr. Burns here. Release the hounds, Smithers.
Release the hounds, 100%.
I mean, look, if anybody's gonna be harsh with Ndombele, it's Ange. And the thing is, people, I don't know if any of you are Aussies out there, but I'm English living in Australia. The Lanes are New Zealander living in Australia. Merv is my little brother, so he's English living in Australia. The one thing I can say about Australians and the way they coach and the mindset they have is they don't beat around the bush, right? And that terminology means that they get to the point. They're blunt. They're not rude, but they get to the point. They're blunt. They're straight. They're direct with you. They're honest. And if you put in an effort for an Aussie, honestly, they'll pick you 9 or 10 times out of 100, or out of 10, I should say, not out of 100. But Ange is the man to try and get these guys working. If Ange can't get Ndombele moving his ass, then no one will, because the way this guy knows what it's like to be from the bottom and how hard it is to work up. He's worked his way here, and he won't stand for anyone to get in his way. And like this Royals attitude. Remember when everyone was backing out Royal, and he went and spent £1 million of his own money to get a psychologist. He worked hard training. He did everything he could, and he did get better. He progressively got better.
Yeah, exactly. And just going on about the Ange, and obviously his work ethic and what they're doing here in Australia, or the Australian culture. Look, I don't know if you guys seen the video, but there was a video. I think he was coaching the Socceroos. If a Ndombele is in that room with Ange is and Ndombele doesn't perform, Ange is gonna rip him a new one. And I'm telling you, there'll be shit flying around. I've witnessed it. You've witnessed it. Where coaches they just fucking throw bags, throw everything at you. So I mean, look, it's gonna be if Ndombele doesn't pick up his game, he could have a chair or something coming flying at him, and then I'm
Yeah, I'd
telling
love
you.
it. Old
Oh
Alex
yeah,
Ferguson, throw the football beat at him.
yeah.
What's the point? Said I'm actually one of the main writers of The Simpsons. I'll tell you a story. Delane and I used to live together with Merv, and Delane sat through 26 seasons of The Simpsons in like
Oh,
2 months because he had time.
nothing wrong
He
with the
loves
Simpsons, man.
he loves his Simpsons.
Nothing wrong with that.
He also says, "I'm actually quite shy, mate. You should meet me mother." Um, and then Merv with a question, bring it
Yes.
up. Do you think we will look at getting another keeper this or next window if Hugo decides to leave? I don't think so. I think we're going to be, we'll keep Forster. Forster will be the backup. And actually, I don't know. You actually said it, and I think I agree with you now. I think Forster will be the starting goalkeeper for next season, and Vicario will be worked his way in. Unless Ange just goes, you know what, he's my keeper. I'm gonna chuck him out there. But that's a great question. What do you think? Do you think we're going to get another keeper, or do you think we're going to wait till next window maybe to replace Forster?
I think we might wait next window, depending on the situation. If Forster doesn't have a good game, and Vicario does, then I mean we're gonna have to try to look for a backup. But what would you? And I got a question now. What would you do with Whiteman and Austin? We still got 2 young keepers there.
Well, I don't know. So I've seen some videos about sources from the club, and apparently they're really keen on Austin, and Whiteman's just not it. Austin's apparently better. Austin's about 22. Goalkeepers, they don't hit their prime until they're 26, 27, unless they're elite like Donnarumma, who could do it at 19. So for me, I reckon they're going to just keep those guys as backups until either they come good or they get sold. I don't think they're going to break through unless Ange puts faith in him.
Yeah.
That's just my point of view. I don't know. What's the point? Said Emerson Royal has the Rocky music on in the background and trained like a mofo down in 3 cups of raw eggs per session. He killed it and it showed. And you're right.
Yeah, 100%.
This is what I'm saying. Last season, we put it out there on our reviews that Emerson Royale had spent £1 million of his own money on physios, on psychologists, on hydro equipment, where he'd sit there and it showed at the back end of the season. He was one of our best players consistently, and I'm talking about every time he played, he was one of the better players on the pitch, if not top 3 or 4 players. And that's not me talking shit now. Like, you can hate the guy all you want, you can dislike the way he plays, you might not think he's attacking enough for Tottenham. But defensively, he was better than any of our defenders last season
100%.
for me.
100%.
Even Romero chucked his hat in so he could go to Argentina and win the World Cup. Then when he came back, he just kept making, like, he had 1 or 2 good games, then just kept losing his head. I don't know what it is about him. But yeah, look, Royal, I think, will have a good season under Ange, and I'm hoping that he brings a bit more than what he did last season, because what I saw at the back end, I was quite happy. I'm not saying I think he's going to be the best right back in the league, but defensively he's good, and I think sometimes we need to sacrifice a bit of good on the right, because we've got Sonny on the left. Our left side's pretty much our main attacking side. So if Reguilon, I'm hoping Reguilon does well this season, comes back, he might be the one on the attacking. And then Brad did say, wait till he meets the Aussie fans. He'll really see what the fans think of him. I think he's referring to Ndombele. I'm devastated that we can't get over to Perth to watch Tottenham play West Ham, especially now they've lost their golden boy. But yeah, you're right. Aussie fans are brutal. And I'm telling you now, like,
they'll voice it out.
Being an Englishman in high school, trust me, they're not scared to let you know how they really feel. Lee, my other brother, how are you, bro? Hope you're doing well. When are you going to come on for one of our lives soon, bro? Honestly. And then what's the points back in again? Royal won so many tackles and made it easy for Romero, which made Romero happy. I think as our midfield was so crap, it kept breaking down, adding unneeded pressure on our defense. And you're right. That midfield 2 used to get run over. And Delane, how excited are you to see a midfield 3 next season?
Oh, mate. We're actually going to see some decent football come out of the middle, like... I'm actually quite happy. We're not playing this, the 3-4-3 or the 5-3-2 or the 3-5-2, that kind of system. I'm actually happy to actually see a midfield three where we can actually, pass the ball, use the midfield a little bit more instead of trying to pin it forward, trying to pin it wide, trying to play from the back. I don't want to see none of that shit. In the end system, we don't play from the back end. I don't know if you've seen a clip where when I was managing Celtic, I think it was when Joe Hart was there. They were passing the ball back, and you hear Ange on the sideline yelling at them, "Stop effing going back, go forward." So I mean, we're not gonna be seeing these passing from the back. We're gonna be seeing more forward, which is I'm really excited. I'm really excited to what he can bring for us. So yeah, look.
What's the point? I'm going to disagree with you here because if there's fellow Aussies in the chat, and Delane, you can vouch for this, it's not the kangaroos you got to worry about. It's the fucking emus. You don't want to mess with the emus, all right? Kangas. I know everyone's seen the videos of that hench one, like boxing. It's the emus you want to worry about. You see one of those guys, you fucking run.
Emus will fucking. Not even the emu, even the fucking brown snake will fucking catch up to you.
No. Emus, mate. You don't want to be getting chased down by a big ass bird.
Even that.
But yeah, look, you made a great point on Ange, and that's where I think that this is. And with the midfield last season, our midfield was bypassed at all times. Hello, Donna. Welcome to the channel. Like our midfield was jumped so much last season that our defense was so poor. We were leaking goals. Now I do feel like with a better midfield, we will actually have a better defense too, because you will have the likes of Basuma and Bentancur most likely shadowing the back, and then it can actually release Maddison to go forward, and it will also mean that we can actually be more solid out the back, and it will mean that the defensive capabilities of Royal will shine more. And what's the point? Made a point. Romero didn't have to do as much defending because Royal was solid on that right side. Hardly anybody got past him last season at the back end of that season. And then Merv brings up, if we keep Kane, him and Maddison are going to be on fire. Kane not having a drop back, Mads, Benny, and Basuma dominating the midfield. That's what I want to see. That's the midfield I want to see, and I think we probably have a better midfield than even though Arsenal just signed Rice, and they've got Odegaard, and who was the other midfielder they've got in there? I think we have a better midfield than Arsenal, to be honest. I think Maddison's probably the half buy, probably the bargain of the season. Is there any gems? Look, I'll be honest, I don't watch the A-League. It's quite poor in terms of quality. It's too much to even rugby league's the dominant sport here, but football is getting up there. There isn't any gems, I would say. The only gem is that Volpato that went to Roma, who actually played for the Italian squad or picked his allegiance to Italy. He was the goal coming out. They usually bring the older marquee players out here to the back end. That's probably the better players. Like we had Robbie Fowler out here a fair few years ago, and the guy was 50 walking around. Obviously he's not that old, but he was mid-40s, couldn't even walk, and he was banging in 30 goals a season. So that's the quality that we have out here.
You got what's his name? That went to Newcastle.
The young bloke starts with G. Can't remember his name. He's probably in their youth setup where he's been loaned out.
Duran Golu.
Yeah, he was decent. He's quick, but there's not really that much out there. Big up, Elias. How are you, bro? Hope you're doing well. Have to catch you on one of your streams coming soon. Honestly, this right here, Australia's a beautiful place. I mean, you see the odd spider. You see the odd snake, but not that often. It's not like they're dropping out of trees and shit. This ain't Amazon. It is a death trap, but trust me, you come out here, you don't want to leave. And Leah's put in, Ange plays football, forward football, not a sleeping attack like a few of our last gaffers. I don't even think our last gaffers attacked. I think they will all just sit back and get the one goal. And I mean, Conte did play a bit of football towards the back end of the first season that we had him when we got top 4. But honestly, I don't want to see that type of football again at Tottenham. And it's hard to say that, but I don't.
Terrible. That was terrible.
Cameron Lewis, first time in the chat. How are you, bro? Welcome to the channel. Kansas Cami from Tottenham Hotspur Cheese and Podcast. Loving the content, guys. Who do you think, that probably says Ange, is going to chop? I think we already know who he's going to chop, but
Alexis is
gone. I think Sess has gone purely because he's got no place in this team. He can't play left back and left wing. We're going to play Son and Solomon, so there's no way we keep Sess. Davies will go because Davies is too slow. I think Dyer will want Dyer to go, but I think because he is classed as the club captain squad, I don't think he will go. Sanchez is on his way out.
Yeah.
I do see Højbjerg going. I don't know why, but I got a feeling that Højbjerg won't suit it.
Do you reckon Atletico Madrid will pay the money?
Oh, I mean, what they're paying 35?
I think they're 30. Yeah,
he's very defensive and he runs around a lot. He'd suit their system.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll suit Ange's because he needs to play quick football. And Brad's literally said it right here. Lo Celso, Sess, Davies, Sanchez, Dyer, Huru. I honestly think Dyer's going to stay.
Yeah,
that's just my feeling, the way it's going. And, Cameron Lewis again, I'm pretty sure that Hotspur Cheese Room is an Aussie podcast, if I'm not wrong. I think I met a few of you guys a few years ago at the Surrey Hills Hotel, which is the only place to watch Tottenham in Australia, in Sydney, that is. Ange has historically chopped some big names at previous clubs. Yeah, I know he has cleared out a few people, and that's what I want to see from him now. I don't want to see him stutter at the major block that he has now. He's at a bigger club than Celtic. And obviously he managed in Japan, obviously the Socceroos too. I do want to see him chop some big names, and I do think if Ndombele doesn't pull out, he'll be gone. Lo Celso, I think his attitude, he'll be gone. You might even see, I don't know, maybe even Spence. I heard Spence has got a bit of an attitude problem as well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, look, we gotta look at Ange. Like, if you don't perform for Ange, he'll cut you. So, look, you either turn up or you get cut. So, look, Ange is going to be harsh against players, but at the same time, it's what we want. We want him to actually target the weakness players and say, look, he's not good enough, he's not good enough, he's not playing. Simple. Don't perform, don't play.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we have to be there. I think that's what, like, Conte really down for when Son wasn't performing well. He wasn't dropping him. He was dropping Kulu, and it pissed me off because I was like, Kulu was playing wasn't playing as bad as Son, but he was playing half decent, and Son was just playing constantly. What's the point? Pau Torres, which is
I would love Pau Torres. If we got him, I would love him.
He's gone to Villa because Unai Emery. We were linked with him. I think it was like a season and a half we've been linked to him. We linked with him last season too. Yeah, we should have got him. I think he would have been great in our defence. I think if we had him last season, I think Romero would have played a lot better and we wouldn't have linked as many goals. And
he's a left side centre back too. So
see, what's the point, mate? You should be a comedian pulling it out. Andrew straightened Richarlison's eyes for him. No excuses. And you're right. I think that Richarlison is the one player that needs to step up this season, especially with all the stuff.
Do you actually see him stepping up?
If he's playing striker, he can't play. He can't be playing left wing or right wing the way he's been playing. He has to play in the middle.
If Kane leaves, do you see Richarlison starting at this point?
I don't think he's gonna be the main guy. I think it'll be Sonny. I think Sonny steps up when Kane's out. I think Sonny will be the guy. Richarlison will be he'll end up getting the shits again because Sonny will steal the show and then he'll get sold. If Richarlison has to pull his socks up this season, none of this crying shit. He needs to just get in there and get stuck in and do what he was doing at Everton. But the thing is, he wasn't doing it consistently at Everton. He was their best player for the whole time he was there. But it was because he was the main guy. He's in a bigger team now. He needs to step up, pull his socks off.
Yeah, 100%.
I actually didn't know that you guys were mainly back in England. Would love to collab with you guys sometime. I've seen your podcasts years ago. Actually, one of the first actual Tottenham Aussie podcasts I saw. Spence. I think Spence could be out the door if he doesn't pull up. Attitude problem. I heard he had an attitude problem at Knots a little bit. He felt like his boots got too big for him and he was kind of, giving it big. And this one here is controversial. So Cameron says, I can see Kane being sold. He isn't an Ange system player per se. And yes, I know he's a unicorn. Now, I don't think Kane's getting sold. I think this whole stuff with this Bayan account that's saying that Kane's spoken to Tuchel and that, I don't think Kane hasn't even returned to talk to Ange yet. And I think Ange has probably already phone called him. I I do believe he is an Ange system player. I agree with that, but I do think that he is staying for this season, and I think Levy's going to try and convince him January to re-sign, or he'll be sold in January for a 50 million fee.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you reckon, Dane? Do you reckon Kane's staying or going? And people in the chat, do you reckon Kane is leaving us, or do you reckon he's going to stay?
Yeah, put it in the chat, guys. I think he's staying. Look, if Bayern Munich are really trying to push hard for him, they would have pushed hard for him. But then there's, as you said, he hasn't been back to training yet. And has probably spoken to him on the phone and said, look, I got the system going. What do you think of it? Mate, come try it. Let's go. Let's run it. And then, look, you got to look at it. The players we're getting in, like, how can you not be excited? If I was Kane and you seen the likes of Madison coming in, that kind of would excite you a little bit because you know that's, a former player, England player. He can create. He can pass the ball, in those deep pockets where Kane doesn't have to drop deep. So, I mean, Kane doesn't have to do much work, but he's just got to stay up there. He has to just stay up there, and that's what we want him. We want him in that box, winning those headers for those goals. And, yeah, obviously we want him to beat Alan Shearer's record, and also that we just want him to, just stay at the club and just play his game. That's what we want from him. But if he does go and Bayern Munich, I won't be that disappointed. Like, he deserves the best. He deserves trophies. He deserves, all of it. But for me, I don't see him going just yet.
Well, for me, I think you're right on everything, but I have a feeling that he'll go to Bayern for 2 seasons, and then he comes back to try and break the record, whether it's with us or with United. I think that'll be what he tries. If he does leave this season, that'll be what he does. Goes and gets the smell of trophies, wins a shitload, and then comes back. I don't want to see him go. I want him to see out his career and actually win stuff for us. But I mean, that's a whole nother video that is going on Kane and what did he show up in finals? Did he do what he needed to do? Does he deserve the trophies? Leah said Richie needs to do a royal and invest himself. Bang on. Instead of sitting there doing his pigeon dances, he needs to go out there and be. He needs to do what Kane does. Go out there and be the first on the pitch, on the training pitch, and the last one to leave. Merv has said Kane can adapt to Ange football. I mean, Kane's adapted to everyone he's played for, so you're not wrong there. But I think the high intensity was also a problem under Poch. I don't think Kane really can move as much as he used to, so that's going to be a problem. But I do think he's class enough that Ange won't want to get rid of him. Lee has said Harry's last season. I think that too. I think Harry will leave after this year. He'll be 31 at the end of the season, and then or 32. I think he'll be 31. I can't remember. I think he's a year younger than me, so I think he'll be 30, 31. He'll leave, and then he'll probably come back to finish his career off with us. If not, he'll just go to like United or something. What's the point? I'd agree about Madison being the candy to sweeten up Kane, but there's too much talk every day now about Kane leaving because he wants Champions League. Now, I will say on that, there is only one Twitter channel handle that's really pushing it, and it's called CF Bayern. And they're the only Twitter label that's really pushing it, and everyone else is jumping onto what they're saying and pulling it out and going, oh, it must be true. He's saying it every day. We don't know what's happening. We honestly don't know if Harry Kane is being tapped up. And if it is, the thing is we can get them, because if Tuchel's going to his house and asks him to come to Tottenham, that's tapping up. That's illegal. They could be fined for that. So I don't know how true that is, but I hope it's not. But you never know. It probably could be. Kane staying, he will go off this season with the mid-3 being strong. Haaland too. I mean, Haaland's a freak. I think City is still with the league next season. I think City are going to dominate.
Well, they haven't really brought in.
They don't need to, though. They don't need to. City's a team that don't need to. They just need to replace 1 or 2 players a season. That's it. Gundogan's gone. Went out and got Kovacic straight away. You know what I mean? They don't need to. Audio back in again has said, what's worse for Levy, to be known as the chairman who sold Kane for X amount, or being known as the chairman who lost Kane for nothing? You're right. He wouldn't be the businessman he is if he didn't get money for Kane. I just think that Harry Kane is Tottenham to him, to Levy. Unfortunately, the club is bigger than the player. And at the end of the day, if someone comes in for $100 million bid, even though Rice just went to Arsenal for 105 mil, and I would value Kane at 150. At the end of the day, if someone comes in with 100 mil, I would say goodbye. That money can be used to strengthen the team. And at the end of the day, the club's more important than the player. I love Harry Kane. He's been the greatest player I've ever seen in my lifetime, apart from probably Gareth Bale, obviously Lionel Messi, Ronaldo. But in Tottenham terms, to me, I put him on the pedestal, probably as one of the best players I've seen at Tottenham play. I mean, Gareth Bale on his day was disgusting, but I don't want him to go, but I think he will. See, what's the point of Greece? He thinks he's going to go to Bayern and come back. I think Bayern's calling, and they need a striker anyway. They haven't got a good striker since Lewandowski left. So
they haven't had a good one since they tried to utilize Leroy Sané and Sadio Mane, but it just didn't really work that well.
Well, I think Mane might be linked to going to Saudi Arabia, which is another thing. Richarlison, the pigeon carrier, is firing blanks. I have that feeling too. I don't think Richarlison. I think we wasted money on him. We should have went and bought Bastoni for 60 mil, and then just got a youngster to back up Kane. I don't know why we wasted 60 mil on Richarlison. I wanted him to become good. Thought he was a good player, but I just don't think he's it. You confirmed that Harry Kane is 30 this month, end of this month, the day before Uncle Merv gets married. So I mean, I feel old as when he's younger than me. At the cost of Gulliver's Travels. I mean, they got Haaland for 50 mil. I mean, that was a steal. That guy's going to be banging in goals. But the thing is with Haaland is he's going to be there for 2-3 seasons, and then he'll fuck off to Real Madrid. I think that's what his plan is anyway. And then what's the point again is if Levy knows Kane is going, then he should sign top defenders, not okay defenders with the potential. And you are correct. We need to be bolstering. I think that's why Tapsoba's being led along, and we're going for Van de Ven first because they're going to go, all right, if we keep Kane, we've got Van de Ven as a potential, and Kane can see that we're growing. But if Kane goes, we'll get Tapsoba too. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. But what do you think, Dean? You reckon that's what they're doing?
I reckon they're doing that, I think they're just getting Van de Ven, as that potential, young up-and-coming defender. Well, there was a, I think I read some report that I think Virgil van Dijk rated him. I said, Virgil van Dijk came out and said he's going to be the next, best defender in the Netherlands national team. So, I mean, we know what Virgil van Dijk was like. He's not I don't think he's the best at now. I think he's fallen off big time. Last season,
he's definitely fallen off the pedestal. He had 1 year at the top, 1.5 years.
Yeah.
There's no way anyone can compare him to the likes of Vidic, John Terry, Ferdinand.
Ramos.
I don't want to hear it.
Even Ramos.
But yeah, look, you make great points. And Cameron has come in and said Richie needs time at number 9. He is a striker, and I've been saying that as well.
I agree.
Richie's not utilised out wide. He's utilised in the middle, and we've only played him probably 2.5 games in total in the middle. And you're right. I think Richie needs time in the middle. I think we need to rotate. Kane needs to be rotated more often. That's why I wanted the likes of Barnes, because I want Son to be challenged, but I also want it to be like if we rotate Son out and we rest him for a game, we're not going to go, oh shit, we're playing fucking Hill on the left. No, we've got Harvey Barnes. He knows what he's doing. He can play that position. He plays that inverted left winger that Sonny does. And it's not a like for like, but it's a player that's a lot better than the backup that we've had. So for me, Richie needs to be played through the middle, and Ange, and I think Richie might suit Ange's system better than Kane, purely because of his pace and the fact he's a bit younger and his skill set's different to Kane.
And plus the work rate, because if you watch what Richie does, he actually presses hard. He presses up high, real high, than what Kane does. So I mean, look, I think Richie could be, that actual number 9 that we may need, but then also, I don't want him to be utilised out wide because he wasn't brought in. To me, I don't think we brought him in to play out wide. I think we brought him in to play in the middle, but I think Kane was playing every game. We just couldn't utilise him in the middle. So, I mean, I think now we have to really look at it and go, look, we need to play him in the middle. That's his natural position.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, you and Cameron have a great point, and I think that's the way to go. And before I go on to what's the point, and this is, as again, Cameron has come in again and said, he does. I think Richarlison suits Ange's system better than Kane. But when you got a player like Kane, you're not ignoring him for Richarlison. You're not. No way. Like, unfortunately, I wouldn't even ignore Kane over Richie. What's the points brought in? What's wrong with me, guys? I have this crazy feeling about Hula and Alex Scott coming to Spurs to play on the Ange. I think Alex Scott will. He is a Tottenham supporter. I think he's the next. I think he'll be the back end of the transfer window when we got the targets that we want, and then Alex Scott will be pulled in, maybe loaned back to Bristol, but I would actually just keep him in the squad. I think he's good enough now to be understudy to Madison. I don't know much about I'm going to say Hula, but I'm guessing it's Gula. I don't know much about him. I don't know if you know anything about him, D, but I mean,
no, I've never.
Seems to know.
He's from Fenerbahce, so he's from Fenerbahce, so we don't really watch the Turkish league over here. It's pretty hard to try and get, over here.
If Richarlison is the striker, then I'm a combine harvest. get on all fours and start chewing some corn up, bro.
100%.
It's like Richie went some time embarrassment. Richie this season more than anything else. You're right. I think Richarlison should be actually embarrassed about his performances this season. The Liverpool game, the way he went off and then they scored, like, that's not his fault. But like, that would have been. I think this season would have been his worst season in his career in terms of like just the sheer performances and him coming out and calling out Conte and all that sort of stuff. I don't think he took his opportunities either.
No, he didn't.
And Merv has said Richie was brought in to be back up to Kane, give him his season. I think he's going to find form. Thing is, you don't buy a $60 million backup.
No, you don't.
Sorry, £60 million backup. To me, you buy a £35 million backup that knows they're going to sit on the bench. I think Richarlison was convinced he'd be jumping in into the team. So, what's the point? It said Kane could adapt to a team playing in the North Pole. Definitely. I think Kane could play anywhere in the world. I think he's that type of player that if he doesn't play striker, he'll go into the midfield and feed. Playing in a team full of Penguins.
100% he would.
He'd boot the ball and it'd ricochet off a Penguin and they'd make their weird ass sounds and he would do a halfway volley and score or something. Spurs Live back in has said, guys, how many players are we off being a Champions League club? I say 6 or 7 minimum.
This is a good question.
I would say a bit less, but it depends on if you're talking about first team and squad. Now, first team, I think we're 4 off. I think we need a better right back, a better left back, a better left centre back, a better goalkeeper than what we have, and a defensive midfielder. I think our front three is good enough to be in the Champions League. Madison's definitely good enough. I would personally, it's going to shake some heads here, but I would move Basuma into the centre mid and get a defensive midfielder like Amrabat. That's what I would do. That's what, 5 players. And then all those players that you demote from the first team will go into the bench. So I think 5 players, maybe 6. What about you, D?
Yeah, look, I'll probably say about 4 or 5, centre back, another left back, probably another midfielder. If we're talking, maybe a central midfielder, another goalkeeper for sure. I mean, I've lost count already. That's 4. Who else would I have? Maybe another backup for Madison. So maybe another Cam. So there's a lot of positions there that we could really pull a lot of positions there that we really need to cover. But it's all about if Levy's going to actually do it. Is Levy going to pull out the money to actually?
No, he won't. He won't. You can't even pull out the money to get 2 centre backs that we bloody need.
Exactly.
I think he was laughing at our Penguins comment. He also said that we're linked with an Israeli midfield. I don't know. I haven't seen those links. I haven't been on Twitter the last hour or 2. So
I've actually seen that. I haven't really seen much of the guy. I don't really know much of him. But look, might as well have a look. Might as well scout him out.
I mean, you never know. We can find a gem. Cameron's come back in. Conte buggered Basuma up, and yes, he did.
100%. Yeah,
we bought Basuma going off how he was at Brighton, and then we played him a completely different system in a completely different way and asked him to do a completely different things that we needed him to do. He was the box to box midfielder, and he was popping shots. He was dribbling through midfield, carrying the ball, and even when he was like towards the end of the season when Mason came in, he kind of got that bit more freedom, and you could see his turn of pace. He moves the ball a bit faster than Højbjerg and Bentancur do in terms of pace-wise. He hits the ball harder. He tries to get to his player. Sometimes it can fuck up, but at the end of the day, he tries to move the ball fast. So I think, completely right. Conte buggered him up. I think we could have had a baller, and I think this season will be the season we said the Basuma of Brighton. Spurs Live has said a left back, 2 centre backs, a right back, left wing, right wing, and centre mid. Is that? I'm guessing the left wing and right wing will be backups to Kulu and Son. I'm guessing the centre mid will be probably an alternate to Basuma and Bentancur or Madison, and then obviously the right back, 2 centre backs. I think for me, Romero's not out of the door yet, but I'm quite wary of him this season. I think this season, if he's make or break for him for Tottenham, for me, I think last season he showed some real immaturity in his defence, and we can't have that in if we want to challenge for the top 4, because that's where we're at the moment, trying to challenge to get back in the top 6. What's the point? If you start a petition, brother, I'll sign it. Tag us in it. We'll sign it.
100%.
We are off from challenging the Champions League. I think this season we'll be lucky to get into top 6. I think that every team's Poch is going to get Chelsea playing well. Liverpool are going to bounce back with their signings already with McAllister. City the same. United are going to look better under Ten Hag. They're going to get their players that they want. Arsenal are getting stronger. They're getting better. And then Newcastle are slowly but surely going to keep playing. I think they're going to waver. So I think top 6 this season, and then maybe next season push for top 4 if we back Ange and we keep Ange and we keep playing the good football that I think we can play. That's my take. What's your take?
Yeah, look, we're so far off it. You gotta look at the teams like Man City, Man United, Liverpool. Look at the signings, the 2 signings they made, McAllister and what's his name, Dominic.
I can't even say his last name. That's why I didn't even say it.
I didn't even say it, man, because it's so fucking hard to say. If you guys in the chat can say it, I'll big up to you, because I have to look
on Google and get him to speak to me, because I don't even know how to say it.
It's hard to say.
Before you carry on, top 6 debate. Big up, my friend, and Josh Suter, Tottenham. Come on, you Spurs. Love Israel. I love every country. Got nothing against anyone. But sorry, Dane, keep carrying on.
Look. But you got to look at Brighton as well. Brighton, Brentford, they're starting to, I know they haven't been signing one, but, they're kind of a team that could go up there as well. So, and Aston Villa, under Unai Emery, they're one to watch as well. So,
they're dark horses for top 6 again. I think Unai Emery did great. I think he should have got one. Actually, he should have been 100%. Candidate for manager of the season. The way he turned Aston Villa around, I was worried. I think they did beat us, but I was very, very worried that they would. Obviously, they took the Europa Conference League spot. But I think Aston Villa are going to be a different side next season again. I think they're going to be better with the likes of Pau Torres now in the defense. And what's the point? Just said this. I think Andrew will be amazing in the CL. So glad I didn't come to us having CL football in mind. Did anybody watch Celtic versus Real Madrid where they lost 3-0, but Celtic absolutely dominated one half where Real Madrid looked like they weren't Real Madrid? He isn't scared. That's what I love about Ange. He isn't scared to take on these big teams because he knows he's the little guy. He knows, we're the underdogs. Let's really just fucking go for him. Let's go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
This
is the attitude we want in this team, like a manager like that. Not scared to go for it. Not scared to go. All right, we're 2 points down. Let's just go for it. Let's just go at him. He's not scared. So look, it's exciting. Exciting for us.
So Spurs live again. Yeah, Chelsea are going to be back this season. I think Poch is going to get them going. I think they have so many quality players on their books that he will find somewhere to go, and he's already clearing out people he doesn't want. Koulibaly's too slow. That's why he's gone. Ruben Loftus-Cheek's been like a bit-for-bit player. He's gone. Even though AC picked him up, I don't understand what it is with AC Milan taking Chelsea players. Lukaku's been sent on. They've just sold Mount. I mean, Mount didn't want to re-sign, so that probably out of his hands. But Poch is going to get him playing again. We all know what Poch is like. He can play better with worse quality, and they've got good quality. So I think nearly about this season. And as again, what's the points reiterated? He's been on fire all night. Is Chelsea? Celtic outplayed Real Madrid for 60 minutes. And you're right. If they had better quality up front, they would have beaten Real Madrid. They lost 3-0 because they didn't have the quality that Real Madrid have.
Yeah.
They had £2.5 million Japanese midfielders absolutely dominating. Modric and Chouameni and Camavinga in the middle. We're not going to go for too much longer, guys. I do have to go to bed. I've got to get up early because I'm on night shift tomorrow, so I got to do a change of shift. But the last closing thing I want to talk about is Ange's willingness to use the academy players, but also how do you think Ange's going to go this season? Like, honestly, and I want you guys to answer in the chat. How do you honestly think he's going to go this season?
I think maybe the first season, we just gotta be patient. Obviously, he's just coming in fresh, so maybe there'll be a couple of hiccups here and there. But for me, I think he might get us going. We will have little bumps and hiccups along the way, but I think he could turn us around and turn us to a team where we can be excited, and play that exciting football again. So I mean, I'm excited to what Ange can bring. Excited for what Ange and his coaching staff bring, and also what his mindset is, and obviously, and how he's going to play, and what type, and the players he's going to want to use, and just everything. For what we saw at Celtic, I hope he brings that attitude to us, because that's what we need right now. Because right now we're in a pickle where we just don't know whether we're coming or going. So I mean, maybe Ange can probably turn us around and turn us to that attacking football again. I'll give it about maybe 2 seasons until we start hitting that proper form with Ange, if he stays.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to get that. I think Levy's going to want him to make Champions League this season. I think that's his goal. I don't think Levy's going to. I think, Levy will tell him, I've bought Maddison. I got you a centre back. I got your left wing when you wanted it. I got rid of the Deadwood. You need to give me top 6. I think that's what's going to happen. And I think the thing is, this league is so open at the moment. Teams are getting so much better that top 4 can be achievable if we hit form. If we connect to Ange's football, and it looks like he's getting some good signs. And I know it's all the club trying to build it up, but I've got my own personal family in England, and some of them are saying that some of the stuff they're hearing out of people that are working in the club, that there is a good feel about Ange. He's very open, honest. He treats everyone with respect. He treats everyone the same. He is down to earth. He is from the bottom, so he knows what it's like. And that, for me, that's a better coach than someone who's been at the top of their game. Someone like Pep. I mean, Pep's an amazing manager. There's no doubt about it. Even though he gets money thrown at him, he still is an amazing manager. You still manage what you have. But he's always been at the top. Ange's come up from the bottom. He knows what it's like to be in those lower leagues, and he seems to get players playing for him no matter how good or bad they are. So I think you're right. I think 2 seasons is full fight for Ange Ball. I just hope he gets there. I do want to see him succeed as an Englishman living in Australia. I love this country. I love their ethics towards sport. I love the competitiveness, and I think if Ange is successful, it's going to be an amazing time out here. I can't wait.
Yeah.
When the season starts, and if we're playing some Ange ball, I can tell you now, he's going to get a lot more Aussie fans because they love that shit out here. So, look, guys, we're going to call it there. Thank you very much for joining us for our first proper live for the season. We'll be trying to get these out once a week. I've not got a schedule, but we're going to try, and when we have time due to work, we all work. We start early, finish late, big hours. Got to earn that paper. We will try and give you prior warning. This one was a bit short notice, but in future we'll try and plan one a bit more. But thank you to everyone that joined and commented. We appreciate all the love that you guys give us. Make sure you are smashing a like and subscribing to the channel, because we are getting a bit recognized at the end. The more you guys do it, the more content we pump out, because we know that you guys want to see and make sure you're sharing it around to all your friends as well. It's honestly it's been a ride. We've been doing this for not even a year, and it's just appreciative seeing the same guys turning up all the time. What's the point? Audio's been here a fair few times. Spurs Live's been here a couple of times now. Appreciate you all guys. But Delane, thank you very much for spending your time with me. Make sure you take it easy, guys. And as we always say here at Total Spurs, stay Spursy.
Stay Spursy, guys.